get this thing going. We still doing Superflex? No, this is a regular draft. No updates. Where is the invitation on ESPN? You know what? We'll do an ESPN draft at some point because the ADP, doing them on different formats is
Yeah.
actually a really good idea because the ADP is crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. I've done a couple on Yahoo too.
All right, I'm up on the clock. Oh, you guys left CMC for me? Cool. I'll take him there.
Damn. Well, I
I'll
guess
take
it
him.
is 3 wide receivers, but still.
I'll take him. Most of your leagues, Tyler, like, because I get a lot of questions about like the standard league too. Are most of your leagues 2 wide receiver or 3 wide receiver? Do you play with the flex? Do you play 14 team, 12 team, 10 team? Like, what's a standard? Standard, you played in one league, this is what the settings would be.
So if I had to just say if I created one league, just because of the wide receivers, I would go with 3 wide receivers. Like the game's changing. Um, so I think 3 wide receivers is kind of what I would do. I do a bunch though, like where I have some that are 3 wide receivers, others that are just 2 wide receivers still. But if I had to create one, I would do that. And honestly, I would also just do I think super flex personally is a lot more. Oh, I don't want
Yeah.
to say a lot more fun, but I enjoy Superflex quite a bit. But for like your standard-ish one quarterback leagues, I would consider just if you don't have 2 flex at least, I would consider just another flex or add a wide receiver, an extra wide receiver personally.
Yeah, I think personally to take a little bit of like some of the luck factor out because I think a lot of people associate luck with fantasy football. You
Yeah.
have to have 12 teams. And if you don't do
Yeah, 12
if
teams
you
and
do
less.
less than 12 teams, it's like a lot of luck does become involved.
Like some people doing 18 leagues, I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy. Eight team or even like the other side of that too, like going past 16 team league is kind of wild because not
That's
everybody will
crazy.
have enough for like starters and backups.
14 teams is pretty tough too, honestly.
That's
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 tough.
where it thins out, bro. I think
Yes.
12 is the sweet spot. And you mentioned like
Yeah.
super flex. Most of the starters are on teams. Like I don't think there's really no available starters on benches or on free agency. And then when you go to the receiver position, if you do 3 receivers, that's starting receivers for every team.
Mhm.
So I kind of think like super flex, 3 receivers. You can add a flex if you want to make your league a little bit more competitive, but I think it takes a little bit of the luck factor out, in my opinion, and make sure your benches are deep too.
No, I agree. What are you, total points or head to head?
No, head to head, bro. Total points
Yeah.
don't mean to me.
I don't
Total point. I
I,
think people who want points just want to feel good about their ceilings.
yeah, I don't I'm in some total point leagues and one of my leagues this year, one of my big leagues this year is changing the total points. I don't really I ended like total points also kind of I would say a bit more fairish. It takes some of the luck out of it just because you could have some teams that aren't that great that are just winning games because they're playing low scoring teams. You see that a lot, but like at the same time, I just think that head to head is a different feeling than like total
Yeah,
points. Like you
I
always
feel
have a
like
chance.
I feel like total points though can be skewed, right? So I've always thought of this, and I've never been able to eloquently put this out there, but total points could be a combination of 2 different things. Spike weeks, like where say you
Yeah.
just have a bad matchup and your guy just goes on an insanely hot run, one of the best runs of the season, that now has carried your team.
Justin Fields from 2 years ago at the end of
Exactly.
the year.
Or Trevor Lawrence did that like towards the end of one of the
Yeah.
years. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. So very similar there. But then also, like, if you want to trade, or maybe you trade and take on a player for injury or for bye weeks, your point ceiling is going to be lowered now. You can trade around buys. So now your point total is going to be higher. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you had the better team.
Mhm.
So, or like if Christian McCaffrey's out for 3 games, and during the fantasy playoffs, he's still there. That doesn't really change a whole lot for you,
Yeah.
but in total points, that means a
That's
lot.
big. Right.
So,
No, I agree. I don't like points leagues typically for that reason.
or like think about quarterback last year, points league. Like now, what I mean, if you would have had just anybody that just stayed healthy throughout the whole year,
Yeah.
your team's going to be better than everybody else's.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Jahan finally got in a draft with you at the 101 B dot. I'll be looking at your squad, bro. I like 3 wide receivers, 3 flex leagues. That's heavy. It's
That's
heavy.
a lot of extras, but that's also kind of like a skill thing that you got to draft
Yes.
well and manage your team well because the flex when you have multiple flex and 3 wide receivers, players on the waiver wire thins out, and there are viable options in the flex spot thins out. People definitely have better flex. So
Yeah. It's just you don't I think that's the main thing is you don't want your free agency, your waiver wire to be just filled with startable options because to me that takes a little bit out of it, right? Like if you can drop somebody and just pick them right back up and they're a starter, I feel like most starters should be rostered and starting for our fantasy teams too.
yeah, no, I agree. What do you? One thing that I think is also if you're trying to because I agree with you in that sense too, but also we did that league last year with the fantasy strategist or whatever his name is,
Oh yeah,
and he
yeah.
plays a thin bench, and I do think that that's another thing too where you can't hoard guys. You got to decide, I got to make moves here. I got players on bye, players that are injured. I got to cut loose some of these guys, and there may be good players that you end up cutting, and somebody else might get them. But same time, you got to manage your team properly. You can't have 10 bench players. Those kind of leagues, in my opinion, I have a couple that are just redraft, but they're deep benches, and I kind of hate it just because you could get really lucky with players that you draft or, pick up a guy in the early in the season and it's just bench is loaded and there's nobody, right? I do kinda like shorter, thin benches because it just makes you manage your team and those losses, the potential cuts that you make even more dramatic if you cut a guy like Zach
Yeah.
Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker goes down. I mean, damn, you kinda messed up, but it's the chance you gotta take.
Yeah, I don't. I guess you can go back and forth. Me personally, I hear what you're saying because it does bring a little bit more challenge to like who you actually keep, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like the other side of it is like maybe I know a little bit, maybe I want to hold on to this guy, or maybe I found this dude before you. Like I don't know. I go back and forth on that. That's a
Like
really
a
good point.
Keaton Mitchell last year type player where you
Yeah,
just stash him.
you know. Let's go, Shane. What's good, bro? What's happening with you, man? Yeah,
Um,
you on the clock right here? How you feeling, bro? Marvin Harrison, Maserati Marv, huh?
yeah, we're gonna go with mm, honestly a lot of players that I like here. I gotta try to think of so I'm gonna go with
You know what
ooh,
they say: think long, think wrong.
I guess we'll go wider. I was between him and Jalen Waddle.
I think DJ Morris. I think he's a good player this year. I think he's a solid value where he's going.
Yeah, and late third, I don't mind them.
That's
It was between him and Jalen Waddle. It is three wide receivers, so I was also honestly looking at tight end there, Travis Kelce late, but I could probably land a pretty solid tight end if I want to go tight end in the next round or even in the 5th round potentially. So we'll
I
see
think
how it
Kelsey
goes.
might be there. I'm always looking ahead too, like in my draft. So like the Lolly's or Holly at the end is for sure taking wide receiver, wide receiver. Aguirre is probably going to take at least one wide receiver here. Well, he took a running back, so for sure his next pick's going to be a receiver. So I
Mhm.
always kind of look ahead at like who's taking
Yeah,
what.
who will likely yeah.
Yeah, I think you probably get Kelsey here on the back end.
I hope.
I shit. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to happen.
And even if I don't, there's somebody else that I could go that I really like. I mean, I still think that you have not even that I would go wide receiver, but like you have solid players there. I'm definitely not going to go with a running back. I don't want to
Elite
go.
quarterbacks are still there. Like there's a
I'll
lot
probably
of
go with a
options.
quarterback and or a tight end. So
There's your boy Tank Dell, man.
my
I
boy.
do not see it. Yeah, I just because you took him last. You took him last.
Yeah, it was later, and usually I don't take Tank Dell a lot. I don't find myself taking him, but in that draft, I did feel like it was later than what he would typically go. So I was like, why not?
Bro, oh, my son is in this draft right now. Can you tell what team is his? My son is drafting with us right now. He's 13. Can you tell what team is his just by looking at the teams?
Let me see.
I was like, yo, this team is stacked.
I'm not sure. I can't.
You can't tell?
The one who just picked?
Nah, nah, nah. Tyreek, Mike Evans, and Diggs.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
right there, number two. That's my
The old
son.
heads.
Yeah, the old heads, right? But he be winning though. He be winning.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Rock out said, "Team two, you was spot on, bro. Spot on, spot on, man."
no, that is and I mean that's the difference. You were talking earlier. Some people kind of get that dynasty mindset where they're drafting those younger team, and that's the complete opposite over there. But I mean, I think Mike Evans, pretty good value this year. I don't. How do you feel about Diggs? I mean,
So
I don't
with Diggs,
mind Diggs, but
I still think Diggs is the one. Like you get, you trade for a player like that who you buy out the rest of their contract and essentially make it a 1 year deal for him. I just don't see why he wouldn't be 1,000 yard guy like he always has been his entire career. Like I don't see a big drop off. Maybe last year in the second half he didn't play as well, but he was also like frustrated with his role with that team. He also played in Buffalo where there's weather concerns towards the second half of the year, right? Versus now plays in Houston indoors with a quarterback that's probably going to love throwing him the football. And then you have other players that can help open things up where he was the only guy in Buffalo. You get Nico Collins and Tank Dell. That opens up so much for him. So I don't know. I kind of like. Oh my goodness. Of course, you took Kamara right there before me, man. I kind of like. I like where Diggs is going right now, third round, and this is a guy who's consistently been a top 10 receiver. Consistently. Even last year, he's top 10.
yeah, I like Nico more personally.
At least like there's some guys that like Dell more too. To me, I'm just like, damn, Tank Dell,
No,
the
I
one.
don't. I don't like Dell. I mean, I don't find myself like usually him and Pickens go around each other. I'd rather have Pickens over Dell.
Yeah,
I
all
guess
day, twice on Sundays.
if Dell gets like more late fifth, and it depends on how my team looks and what I've done so far. I mean, I don't mind it, but like where he usually goes early fifth, and there's just other guys I prefer
Yeah,
personally.
there's just straight ones on the team versus like number
Yeah,
threes on the team that are
right.
still available now. So
No, agreed. So what we got? Rashad White. Rashad White's pretty good value there too.
yeah,
A
I'm
little
telling you,
late.
he's a sniper, bro. He's a sniper in all aspects. He hoops. He
Is he
hoops too.
gonna
He's
is he
he's a
gonna be
hooper.
a fantasy football content creator?
I pray he doesn't, because then that means we failed on the other goal. He's nasty in hoop, like
Oh,
nasty in
really?
hoop. Yeah, nasty.
There you
So
go.
that means we fail. If he's a fantasy football guy like me, that means we did something wrong. We did something wrong. He should be hooping somewhere on a professional stage of some sort.
Ooh, we got that Mahomes Kelsey stack,
I
solid.
mean, Lamar down here is crazy. I'm about to just go Lamar. I kind of
Yeah,
want A Rich, but damn. I normally don't go quarterback, but Lamar down here in the fifth is crazy. I'm taking
no,
him.
that is pretty late. I'm hoping A Rich goes here too, so I can feel good about because if he was there, I probably wish I would have waited instead of going Hurts, but also Hurts. I like Hurts in the fourth.
Yeah.
Once it starts to get a certain range, I like taking these elite quarterbacks a lot.
Yeah, this is you got about three quarterbacks that are probably going to go this round now. He said, "Hey,
Let's
you know
roll.
what he talking about though? He does. Hey, Ty know what he doing, bro. Your son sniped me twice, bro. He cold, bro. I'm telling you, because he sit here and listen to my ass all day. You know me, and I'm sitting here telling him about all these other players. He's been playing fantasy since he was like 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah, he's loved
Good
it.
for him.
Loved it, man. Trading the shit too. He be trying to get over on me, and I'm his dad. So you keep. How old's your oldest?
My daughter, she's 9.
She's not. Did she play fantasy or like football or anything or not?
No, she's definitely a girly girl.
Girly girl.
Yeah,
Nothing
she
wrong with that.
likes she's in the dance. She does a lot of dance, so that's her thing. But my son, he's 7. He's still like you said. Your son started when he like he likes sports, but he's honestly more of a soccer. He loves soccer.
Love
That's his.
soccer.
Yeah,
That's
he
dope.
likes playing soccer a lot.
That's dope, man.
Ooh, I'm a tough decision here. I feel like all 3 of these tight ends could potentially go. I gotta take my guy, and my guy this year, Kyle Pitts, tight end number 1 overall. Let's
Hey,
go.
hey, I'm not mad at Pitts. It's early to take him, but I'm not mad at it though. I ain't mad at it.
I could have potentially gotten him. But like you said, looking at these 3, honestly, tight ends are probably the top of the board right now for me. I'd rather have these tight ends over some of these skill position players like Aaron
Yeah.
Jones. So, yeah, there they
Damn.
go. So I figured they'd go there. Be a little run on tight ends, but
The run on
I
tight
think,
ends.
like, I love Kyle Pitts. I really do think, going back to his rookie season, over 1,000 receiving yards. I think he had like 70 catches as well. But that was also with Matt Ryan, who Matt Ryan we saw went to Indianapolis and then was basically out of the league. So like, but it was a semi-competent quarterback. Matt Ryan was much better early in his career, obviously. Later in this career was, falling off a little bit there.
Yeah,
But now we get Kirk Cousins, who hopefully Kirk Cousins can be, Kirk Cousins. And I know he had Justin Jefferson, but he's also been a very solid quarterback. Back in the Washington days, what was his name? Jordan Reed? Was that his?
Jordan Reed,
Jordan
tight
Reed
end.
was
Yep.
very good, very fantasy relevant tight end. Kyle Pitts is a much better tight end. And, for where Drake London is going, second round, I do think that there's a real chance that Kyle Pitts could be the number one guy on this team. Like, he's good enough, and we've
On the
seen
team, or just you mean tight end one, or you feel like he could be the best receiving target on the team?
a best receiving target. I love Drake London.
Oh,
Don't get me
ain't no
wrong.
way.
I love
Ain't no
Drake
way.
London. Oh, Kyle Pitts is basically a receiver playing tight end. And once
Yeah.
again, we've seen it 20 years old, 1,000 receiving yards his rookie season. 20 years old at one of the harder positions for players to really get started and do well. In football, tight end, usually these guys take a little bit of time to really get going.
Yep.
Right out the gate, 1,000 receiving yards, absolute stud. Now has a quarterback. I really do think he could push well over 1,000 and be a stud.
I think there's a couple guys that can do 1,000 this year. I think Pitts, McBride, Laporta are really the ones that scream like 1,000-yard potential. Outside of that, I don't really see. Maybe Kincaid. Maybe Kincaid. That's about
Yeah.
where it stops for me with 1,000-yard potential. Like Kelsey to me is more touchdown. We're going to see his value with the touchdowns as opposed to the yardage. But that's about where it stops for me. And I think Pitts, for all the upside he has too, like London's just going to see more receptions, more, more yardage. But I think
Maybe.
Pitts, if you can get him outside of the top 5 tight ends, there's a lot of
I
value.
think where London will definitely probably outproduce Pitts is in the red zone. I think London's similar to like Mike Evans, where these
Yes.
are more possession type of wide receivers, red zone targets. But I really would not be shocked if Kyle Pitts actually has more receiving yards than him, because I think Kyle Pitts is just way more of an explosive player than Drake London is. But we'll see. I like both of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sit here and shit on Drake London. I love Drake London.
Right.
But I really do love Kyle Pitts. So, and we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier too. Oh no,
shit! My bad. I went on another pick. Who'd I take? Connor. That's not who I was taking.
Yo, you love James Conner,
huh? Yeah, James Conner in my ass. I'm going DeAndre Hopkins here.
Your boy Calvin. Oh, Calvin did get taken.
Calvin already got taken, man. Cade, what's good? He said couldn't miss the live. You can't miss these. When we get Tyler on the show, bro, you can't miss this one, man. Here comes the tight end run. There definitely was a huge tight end run. We got Tyler in here. Yes, sir. Let's do it. You're well known in these streets, Ty.
Yo, what's up, Cade?
Cade, the homie, man. Jay, you see me talking trash in the sleeper chat? Gave your Paul a video, George. You can get all my videos a dislike. I don't care, bro. He said I gave it a dislike. Oh my god.
Why? How do you feel? What do you feel about that, Paul George?
I think
Did you make a video?
I made a video on Paul George. I didn't do a
it.
TikTok. I didn't do a TikTok.
Oh,
I've been all
okay.
over the place this offseason, YouTube, TikTok. But to me, I'm just like, I don't really see the up. Like it was the best move that Philly could have made this offseason, but it's the same thing they do every year. They get a collection of losing players. And I'm just like, Embiid never won shit. When they had Harden, he had never won shit. They brought in Doc Rivers, he had never won shit. And now they're doing it with Paul George. It's like they're not really bringing in no winners, So I don't know. They're going to be a good team, an Eastern Conference powerhouse. But
hey, I'm a Sixers fan. All right.
Hey, I sat here and dragged your team, bro.
No, I mean, I think he's the best that they could have done, though.
Yes.
And I think he's better than a much better 3 than Tobias. So I'd rather have
much better.
I think better. I think he's a better D and 3 player than Tobias. So I don't think that they don't need like, and I don't think Paul, I mean, kind of, I guess I don't know enough about basketball, but you don't want a ball, like what would you say? A ball dominant scorer, which I mean, maybe he is somewhat, but he can
At
also shoot
times
threes
he can
at
be.
times. But like you just have Maxi and Embiid, and I think he fits really well with what they want to do. And I don't know, he also hasn't won shit too. But unfortunately, like I mean, they've had chances there in LA to be pretty good, but he's with the Pacers, he always had LeBron and that super team there, which is
I
just not
mean,
fair.
he just I mean, at times, I'm gonna be real, like Paul George just doesn't show up. We've
He
seen playoff P, but then we've also
disappears.
seen, yeah, we've seen panic P before too. So I don't know. I think as a third option, second option, whatever you want to call him, he's gonna be good for the team. It's just in the playoffs, you need
I mean,
those
that's kind
guys
of
to
what he
elevate.
that's why they should have just fucking paid Jimmy Butler,
They
man.
should
Like,
have. Yes.
or the other thing that I was so fucking pissed off when this happened too is I don't know if it was Markelle Fultz here. I wanna say it was Markelle Fultz when he got drafted and they passed up on Jason Tatum, and then Tatum
Yeah.
ended up going and, like, it just didn't make sense for what they were trying to I thought Fultz was such a stupid pick then because I don't
Because he
know.
was injured that year too, right? Like that they knew
When
he
it
was
was
gonna
just
be out
like
for a whole year.
he didn't do shit. Like, I mean, I guess he did do shit. I don't wanna say that, but, like, they already had you had,
You already
hold
have
on,
Ben
I gotta make
Simmons on
a
the
pick.
team
Yeah,
too
Ben
at point.
Simmons. That it just didn't fit, like, from what they were trying to do. Like, it would make more sense, in my opinion, with Tatum, who they needed like that more of that forward. They didn't really have that. And they
Yep.
get Raquel, who was a ball dominant scorer too. Like he's not, at least at the time, he was a ball dominant. He hasn't done shit since then. He's just been so banged up. Like that's been his
Yeah.
biggest problem. But you had, Ben, who also needed the ball. Well, not ball because he didn't really shoot. I don't know. Just like at the time, I was pissed off at it, and I think it would have really set them over the edge. And also, we see Tatum, who at least wants the ball at the end, or wants the ball at the end of the game, like Embiid's that time too. Will kind of like,
Well, it's funny because like Tatum is the guy they've been searching for. You go sign
yeah,
Tobias, sign Paul George. You've been looking for Tatum this entire time, and he
you
would have
could
been
have
the
had
perfect
him,
complement.
or maybe they couldn't have had him. Maybe it was Markel. I don't remember,
No, it
but
was
it was
Fultz.
right
It
there.
went Fultz. I want to say it was Fultz, Lonzo, then Tatum.
Tatum, yeah, and they
Like that
could have
was the
had him.
draft. So it was. I don't know, man. And then they messed him up too. All his shot too. They messed up his whole form and everything.
Yeah,
That was
he
bad.
got screwed. Unfortunately, I feel bad for the guy.
That
But
was
he's
bad.
at least he's not like Ben, who Ben's just like got some issues. I don't know.
I thought Ben would
He was
figure
a
it out.
stud,
He's
man.
bad, man.
Early on, dude, he was
You think the Sixers can win the East?
no. I just think the Celtics they're just too good of a
They're
team.
too good.
I mean, they
They're too
like
good.
didn't even need Chris Stapps, and they still won the NBA Finals.
Yo, everybody watching, even if you have a little interest in hoop, run up the likes on the hoop videos. Y'all gotta go run up the likes on the hoop videos, man. Not just the fantasy football shit. Run up the likes on those, man.
Brett Brown
I'm,
was the version of Chip Kelly. I like that.
yeah, what do you say? Oh yeah, right here. Chip Kelly, man. I'm a Niner fan. As a Niner fan, bro, I thought Chip Kelly was about to turn our whole organization around. Like I thought it was intentional that he went from Philly, and then that was terrible, bro. Terrible,
Yeah, it
terrible.
didn't work out. College
Didn't.
is he even in college now? Is he still coaching?
I know he was in college for a little bit. I think I want to say he's a head coach now somewhere. I think he's fully
Fall off was
rebounded and embraced
bad for him.
college. You
Yeah,
said what?
the fall off for him was pretty bad.
Yeah.
He was one of the best college. Well, was doing really well in college, then tried to go in the pros, and that shit did not work out.
Did not. He blew up that whole Eagles team too. That was supposed to be like a
It
dream
was a dream
scenario.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was not.
not at all. I'm a Mavs fan. I'm cool with the Clay signing, but there's no defense on that team. I'm worried. I just talked about this on a video about Clay, and it's like I kind of caught some flack on it. I was doing it with my friend. His name's Dub. We were doing a talk, and I was like, "What does Clay really offer that's more than Tim Hardaway Jr.?" And he said like defense, and I'm like, maybe a couple years ago, but after the
Not
injuries,
yeah.
Clay's just a shooter to me. Like
He's
I don't
not
know.
the
Maybe
same
I'm
player he
tripping.
once was.
That's how I felt. Fultz. Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole Fultz thing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it was a terrible pick at the time, but I just think Tatum would have been a better option.
Looking back at it, I mean, Tatum
It
was
was
definitely the pick. If they drafted Tatum, I think the Sixers would be. like you're talking NBA Finals. But then even after that, you had Jimmy Buckets, who, in my opinion, I don't know exactly what happened with the Jimmy Buckets. Why they didn't keep him? Why they didn't extend him? Maybe they didn't have the money. I don't remember what happened with that situation. But the fact that you let him go, because that's what they need. They need that
Yeah.
score, like that guy who can just close out the games, because B just doesn't do it. And he's also constantly banged up too. And Jimmy B just, he's a guy who like he's just a winner. And like winners are a different breed across all sports. Like they change the team.
Yep.
They get other guys like a Tom Brady, may not be the greatest, but like just his aura affects everybody else on the team. And that's just kind of like what I felt with Jimmy B. And you almost could have went to the NBA Finals if fucking Kawhi Leonard didn't have that
Did the
ridiculous shot in the corner. Yeah, like so they were so damn close. Well, I still think they had to go on and win another series, but like,
yeah.
they went it up. The Raptors won the finals that year. So um,
I just think with for whatever reason it seems like, and this is a whole like me, I believe in like mentality with athletes, right? Like people who think they're gonna win and people who don't. We every time Paul George talks, it feels like he's throwing excuses around as to reasons why they didn't win or
why?
why they
Yeah,
weren't good. Yeah. Kind of reminds me a lot of like I think Aaron Rodgers, the reason why he hasn't taken that next step and won a Super Bowl since 2009 is because he has that same mentality of like, damn, I'm
yeah.
too good. Why I deserve blah blah blah. So I kind of think that has a role to play in like taking ownership and accountability for your actions as a leader to get your teammates to buy into you and to move on and become a winner. And to me, just it's that team right now is full of a bunch of guys that don't take ownership. And B
Don't,
kind of
yeah.
does the same thing. So
No, he does.
Jahan, who you like more at my pick, Zach Moss or Keon Watson? Keon Watson. You mean Keon Coleman?
Keon Coleman, I'm
I
assuming
like
Christian
Moss.
Watson.
I like Moss there at your spot. I think Moss has a much safer floor. Only thing is you need three receivers to start. So you're relying on Hollywood Brown, which ain't bad. But yeah, I prefer Zach Moss there because I think you probably could snipe another similar caliber upside receiver as Keon Coleman at that next pick, personally. You feeling the same way?
Um,
You like Moss or you like the rookie receivers?
I guess it depends on how his build kind of went, 'cause I wouldn't mind those. I wouldn't mind Keon Coleman, but like, because right now, like thinking about my team, I wish I would have won a couple more of these wide receivers because it is three. But there are a couple guys that went later instead of, because I'm just used to how I run my mocks is usually just two wide receivers and two.
Yep.
So I'm kind of building out, but like going back and looking at it, I wish I would have done that. But I mean, what team is he? Which one was he?
He is Yeet Man in the middle. He's like team
Big
7.
man. Okay, right there. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Zach Moss there because he already had 3 solid wide receivers, Keon Coleman, and even I think that there's a couple wide receivers later that I really like as well, so I don't mind Zach Moss. I definitely think he's probably a bit safer, like you said.
Cade with the troll effort. Bronny's getting sent to the G League. There ain't no way in hell that's happening. He just signed a 4-year deal. Good for him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good for him. Justin, what are your favorite teams in all the leagues? If you're just asking like my team, I'm a Niner fan, Laker fan, and then I'm an honorary Giants fan because I live up here in Northern California. So, what about you, Tyler? I know you're Steelers, right?
Yeah, Steelers, mine are, yeah, all around me, so, like, Steelers, Penn State, Syracuse, I like the Flyers and, um, uh, Pirates, Sixers, so kind of
Phillies.
Philly teams, yeah. Philly, a little bit Philly, but I mean, just kind of all just local from where I am.
All right. Tell Tyler I really like his team. They're glazing already, bro. They glazing already, Tyler. You came into one draft. They glazing already, bro. Tell Tyler I like his team.
Yo, appreciate you, Blake.
Glazing, glazing, glazing. I hope PG works out. I can't stand Tatum. Need someone to compete with them in the East. We'll see how
I
it
don't
works
think
out,
it's
man.
gonna happen.
My
I think they're
pick.
gonna be better, but it's Celtics are just so damn good. But hey, injuries can happen. We saw it last year in the playoffs. A lot of those teams were banged up and injuries happen. So
Ain't that the truth? I should have grabbed another running back there. So it says, Justin, it happened. I'm not joking. I'll send it to you. It's not a troll. They just announced he's spending most of the season in the G League. That's crazy. I thought the whole reason he was getting drafted and the whole talk was like, no, he's not going to the G League. So it's interesting that they would do that and not play with his dad. That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
Woj just announced it. Look at his Twitter. I'll have to take a look. I think you like JSN more than Hollywood, Jahan. Do I like JSN more than Hollywood? Yes, I do. I think I like JSN more than Hollywood. And I think just with this new offense that's going to be in Seattle, obviously knowing that he's going to be prioritized in the slot there. And then Hollywood Brown is going to be a very inconsistent piece, which he has been his whole career. He's only had one season over 800 yards receiving. So I think Mahomes spreads the ball out. If Rashee Rice comes back in the second half of the year, Xavier Worthy pops
What
off,
if
if Kelsey looks good, there's too many other variables for me.
Rashee Rice gets 8 games? Would you
Even
still?
still, even still, like you still have
I like
Mahomes will
Hollywood.
spread that thing out, you know? And then in the second half, now when Rice does come back, even if it's 8 games, say it's 10 games, now I have to significantly downgrade a core piece of my lineup. You have to. So I think like if I'm especially as I'm looking like fantasy playoffs, to me, I'm just like, I don't really see a whole lot of value with the guy who's been super inconsistent for most of his career anyway. I don't know. I just don't see it personally. You like Hollywood more? You like JSN?
Yeah, I like Hollywood. Because, I
Hollywood?
mean, you could say, like, the same thing where I mean, the hope is that JSN is a number 2 target, but, like, what if, Tyler Lockett's still Tyler Lockett, like, a consistent player throughout his entire career, and what if this offense doesn't throw the ball? I just don't know what to fully anticipate out of this offense. I think they're gonna throw the ball a lot more than what they have in years past, but you still have a very good running back in Kenneth Walker. So what if they just don't throw as much as we're hoping? And then, like, Hollywood gets, Patrick Mahomes. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
take that guy, and that team can be the highest scoring team in the NFL this season, put up, huge stats, and Hollywood Brown would be, in a good position. And also, I will say that we've seen Hollywood Brown produce good numbers that one year. It was 1 year with Kyler when he would had a chance to be the number 1 wide receiver on that team, and then unfortunately got hurt. So I think that there's a chance.
There's a chance. There's always a chance.
Hopefully nobody
What are
took my guy. Nah,
your
somebody
thoughts
did.
on New York giving up 5 unprotected firsts for someone who never made an All-Star game? I think that the Knicks just had to get better. I don't mind it. They're going to be late picks for the most part anyway, and they need to get a piece like that to make a championship run. So they got a guy who gels well with their team. I actually don't mind it. I think the Knicks will probably be better than Philly next year. It's my gut.
What about what's his name? Hartenstein? Whatever.
Hartenstein, yeah.
Well, what about that though? Is that a big
Going to
loss?
OKC, that don't change it. He was injured for a good portion of this year anyway. I think he's good, but he's not. He wasn't
Oh,
a
he went
bust.
to OKC? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he's
I mean, I
he's on
don't follow the
OKC
NBA
now,
as
bro.
much, but
He's on
yeah,
OKC now.
that's gotta
So
be nice if he can stay healthy for them.
yeah, that was a big pickup for them. They needed that kind of presence. I thought one of the conditions for Bronny was that if he got drafted, he was going to be on the roster. That's what I thought too. But Kate is telling me different, and Kate said it. Sometimes he trolls, but I trust it. Sometimes he trolls. Let me look it up real quick.
All right, so this last
Bronny
round,
James expected to move to G League.
ooh,
So there it is. There it is. All right, let me do this for your
it could
last
be
pick.
early on too,
Yeah. Start the season
Um,
out.
yeah, get a little acclimated.
Yep.
All right, last pick here. I'm probably, um, I mean, I'll just go with running back. I like Kendre.
Yeah, Kendra. You like Kendra this year? I don't think he takes over. Like everybody's
I don't
anticipating
think he's gonna take
Kamara.
over. No, I do think. Well, I mean, we kind of talked about this. He needs to take some of the workload off. Like Kamara is just not. They're they're making this like early down grinder as well, and it's just not like the player that he's ever meant to be. He's always
Yeah.
meant to be more like I don't want to say a breather back, but just third down back with some early down work. To keep that efficiency high for him. So I hope Kendre can be a good player on the early downs to kind of take that workload off. And then it could be another team that next year they're moving off of Kamara, so they need to see what they have in Kendra. Do they need to, address the running back position next year? Because I don't know, they're in a weird position. Are they trying to win? Do they want to be bad?
You know,
A weird
that
team.
they feel like they're the exact same as they were last year, like
Yeah,
the
so it's
exact
like
same.
they're not good enough to compete, not bad enough to be bad. So it's like, I don't know.
In a 10-man, one flex, one QB league, would you rather have Mixon, Ingram, Terry, or Moss, Kincaid, and Nico, and why? Mixon, Moss, Ingram, Kincaid, Terry, Nico. I feel like it's a pretty even deal. I would probably go with the Mixon side of it. You got a preference on that?
I think Kincaid and Nico are the best two players, so I'd rather have those two guys.
Fair enough. Uh, also, one flex, one QB in a half-point PPR league. Would you rather have Goff and Metcalf or Tank and Dak? Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go Goff and Metcalf. Goff and Metcalf there. I just think the upside's higher.
That's close.
It is close, but that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I probably I don't know. That is
You
tough.
like the other side? You like the Tank side?
I just like Dak more than Goff, but it's really not that big, I guess. I think it's pretty even, honestly. Like I don't, it's
Yeah.
not bad.
All right, last one before I get into ranking the team. So, Justin, what's going to be the difference between being a YouTube member and a Dub Club member? So, YouTube is going to be like if you're a YouTube member, you're going to get priority access to like getting your question answered, right? So, and obviously early access to any video that I put up. So, any video I put up is probably going to be at least a couple hours before anybody else sees it, sometimes a couple days. And then, like I said, priority when the season, because you guys know how the chat gets during the season, is I might change it to members only this year. So, that'll be the members only, and you'll get a discount on the Dub Club. And Dub Club is going to be all my rankings, the draft guide, everything, all the bets, every single bet. It's going to be behind the Dub Club, so you'll have access to everything that I have, and you won't have to watch a video for an hour to get it. So if you wanted my weekly rankings or some of my bets, all that shit's going to be on there. So that'll be the main difference between being YouTube and Dub Club. That's like weekly rankings, player props, bets for NBA and NFL, etc. All right, you want to rank these teams with me? We'll alternate. How about that?
Sure.
All right. I'll go first, and then I'll let you go second, and then you can rank my
Oh
team. I'll
man, I'm
rank your
gonna
team.
get your son's team.
Hell
Gonna
yeah,
make
tear
me
it
do
down.
that.
Tear it down. Tear it down. All right, you got CeeDee Lamb, Debo, T. Higgins here. Good receiving core. I like the running backs. Jacobson, Kenneth Walker. Got really good value on Kyler down there. To me, this team's like an 8.2. I like this team a lot because it gives you got good floor, good upside. I like this team. 8.2.
All right, so your son's team. I mean, I really like it. I'm gonna pretend that's just Nico instead of Diggs, but you think that Diggs will be wide receiver one. I mean, you got a really good value in Rashad White too. Even CJ Stroud, while I don't love him, but like 6'11 is a really good
Yeah,
spot.
crazy.
I probably wouldn't. The only thing I would say is just why Brock Purdy? Just roll with Stroud all season long. You know what I mean? Like just draft somebody else. But other than that, I mean, I do think it's one of the better teams. Like I think it's. I would say I'll say 8.6.
8.6. There you go. See, nicer than me. I'll be giving out low grades. Jefferson, Olave, Deontay Johnson, Addison. Receiving core is decent. Got H.N. and Warren. Not really fond of the running backs. Gus Edwards late, so you get some safety there.
He's
Look at
got
Kelsey.
RB1.
Oh my gosh, we gotta stop with this RB1. We gotta stop with it. I don't even know if he'll be top 12 in my rankings when I put him out.
Dude, you're missing.
I think this team's more like a 7.8 to me, 7.9. I like getting T-Law there, but you already have Mahomes. If you would have got him as your only quarterback and maybe another positional player instead of Mahomes, I probably would love this team. But this is more like a 7.9 to me, 7.8.
All right, this mid team. No, I mean like Lamar is just insane where you got him. That's pretty crazy. And then solid RB2 as well, and Joe Mixon. I would say like wide receiver core is honestly pretty good too. I would say I still like your Suns a little bit more, but we'll go with the 8.3. I do think it's really good.
Bet. Don't worry, I think I get to rank your team, so it's all good. St. Brown, Pittman, Keenan Allen, love the receivers here. Derrick Henry, Kamara, this is solid. But Aaron Jones is the RB3. Jordan Love is your starting quarterback. You got good upside down there with Coleman. Dallas Goddard at tight end. Maybe you probably could have waited around and got him, but still, I like the setup of this team. Jordan Love is insane down there in the ninth round. To me, this is a good team. 8.5. I get this 8.5. I really like this team.
All right, next one. I like this team as well. I think it's some guys that personally I really like Najee, Rasheed, where you got him, even Trey Benson later. I like him, Troy Franklin. So I think it's overall a pretty solid squad as well. Would I have it more than Justin's? I'd probably say I'd say it's like a 8-1, but I do like it.
Yeah. The Neighbors pick, man. I can't get on Neighbors that
I like
early.
Neighbors for where you got him. I will say that. Like it's
I'm
good
mad at
value.
that. Yeet, man. You got Bijan with good backs there. Zamir and Zach Moss there. Ford. Yeah, I like what you did with the backfield. Receiving your third receiver, obviously Hollywood Brown. If he hits, this is gonna be one of the better teams in the league. If he doesn't hit, you'll have some issues there. I think you could have did better at your backup receiver, but overall, it's a strong team. I get it's like an 8.3. 8.3. I like the team, man.
All right, next squad. I like it. It's just the running backs. I mean, your RB2s could be decent, but also I kind of don't like either one of those guys, to be honest with you. Just me personally.
Yeah.
Um, but you do have Jaden Daniels, good value. I'll say it's probably the one that I like the least, but I would still say it's pretty good just because I do like the receiving core. The receiving core in a 3 wide receiver league, like those 3 wide
Yeah.
receivers.
Plus
Personally,
the flex too.
yeah. So I'll say a 7-9. I still think it's pretty good. I still like
7-9.
it.
A lot of young guys down there if you catch one.
Yeah.
All right. This team right here looks suspect off the jump.
Stud.
Garrett Wilson, Harrison, DJ Moore. You got Hurts and Pitts, and then your running backs to me, obviously getting Stevenson and Pollard. You got 2 startable running backs. You got both of the Tennessee backfield. So
I
I like
didn't even
Jacoby
realize
Myers.
that.
Well, hey, at least one of them will work out for you. So I think the only thing is if like I was depending on one of these guys to be my flex, I might be a little concerned, like Jonathan Brooks or Myers, but overall, this is a good team. I don't like Harrison there that early. I would have preferred like a Devontae Adams, somebody else, but I give this like an 8.1. 8.1 on the Justin scale.
All right, next squad. Oh, we got Caleb Caleb was on it. He went really late. Damn.
Super late.
Yeah, 11th round. That's crazy.
Crazy.
And even Mark Andrews 5'10", like that's pretty good value for him too. Wide receivers. I mean, I do like the wide receivers. You got Kyron Williams, who could be very good this year as well. Even DeAndre Swift went pretty late. Overall, I'd say like 8-2. I'll say 8-2. I do
8-2.
like that team.
All right. Gibbs, Pacheco, Mostert, solid backs there. Nakua, Pickens, Reed, JMO. You got Burrow at QB. This team works out. It's a good team. I just think maybe you're missing a little bit of the upside I normally get. Outside, I mean, JMO's good upside down there. Reed's good upside. I'll give this like an 8-2. 8-2, 8-1.
I guess I need to like adjust my scale a little bit. Start giving 7s instead of these 8s. It's probably
there you go. There you go. Come down to the dark side.
Well, yeah. All right. So this last one, wide receiver core isn't too bad. It's just I think it's probably the weakest because you went double running back to start the draft, and it's 3 wide receivers. So I don't like it as much personally. And I also like Dak, but I just feel like why not try for a guy a little bit later? So personally, this is probably my least favorite team. No offense. So I'd say 7-6 is what I would say.
Hey, they used to me giving out 7.5s and shit. So don't worry about giving back.
I gotta adjust the scale next time.
All right, y'all. Hey, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you guys tapping in with the mock. I'm sure we'll be back more all summer. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.